Yo, what's up, Benton? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How's
What
my audio?
sounds perfect to me. Benton's coming in hot. Fringe files, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm out of to talk about, man, as far as talking by myself. So I'm glad Fringe is here. Welcome, Fringe.
Thanks, guys.
You know, most people hate truckers.
Why?
I don't know. Part of it,
It's
I think, is the trucks themselves are very annoying and slow and in the way much of the time.
hell no. Y'all are like hauling balls. That's the only part that like scares the shit out of me. It's like congested as hell, and one of these motherfuckers wants to go like 80, pushing like 90 past us, and I'm like, good lord, chill.
Yeah, that's not helping.
That's like I understand you got somewhere to be, but
I'm
no, I mean I tend to like it. But my dad drove for quite a while whenever I was a kid. Um, and my grandpa, I think he did some driving too. Um, I just appreciate like the hard work. Like it's not just truckers, right? There's a certain class of people where folks think that they're better than them because they have some shitty college degree. They paid for a piece of paper, right? And it's like if you're a truck driver, a plumber, electrician, it's like, oh, well, you're lesser than I. And it's like, motherfucker, you wouldn't have any of the shit that you have going on if it wasn't for these people. So I don't think that they understand where the real power is as far as the dynamics of society.
I think it's like the book Animal Farm. They figure they can just work us until we die and then send us off to the glue factory and then replace us with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
That's
There's
why
proof
I'm
in
a
it.
proponent of make the lefties pour the concrete. All the blue collar people need to stay home long enough to force the lefties to try to work with their hands. And then once the blue collar people see how inept the lefties are in the physical world, I think that will be very eye opening. Just imagine leftist, communist, blue-haired, gender studies type of people building an interstate and then go drive on that interstate. That's all anybody will need to know.
It'd be good for him though.
Be good
It'd
for everybody.
be good for
Who's going to listen
everybody.
to them after that?
Well,
Oh,
haven't they
that's
That'll
so
shut
haven't
them
those
up.
true.
people already infiltrated the army and everything too, the military?
Yeah,
And now the
yeah.
standards are way less, so it'd probably be the same kind of thing if they were in construction too.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah.
They are lessening. I think even in like the construction department, I think that standards are lessening. And it's not so much a matter of like, that there's not good people out there. There's still good people out there that can work with their hands. But as far as the generations upcoming, like we just work with such cheap materials now too. So I actually think that that's a possibility. Everything is cheap, right? As far as material goes and how long it'll last, but it'll cost you an arm and a leg to get it. So
Yo,
crazy.
what did you guys think about that? Biden's like he went, I think it was to Philadelphia to talk about his infrastructure bill, and then like a bridge just fell down, just so happened to
That
fall
had to
down
be a
that day.
setup.
Oh yeah, for sure. Bridges just
It's
don't fall
not.
down. It's there's like
It,
rope bridges in the jungle that are like 100 years old.
I would say that some of those bridges in the jungle might be better than some of the stuff we've built
Yeah.
now, though. Like, architecture. I guess that's where I was going, is it's just gone downhill. It's a matter of how fast can you get it together instead of how long will it last.
Absolutely.
That shouldn't have that shouldn't have been the case for that bridge, but that like had to be a setup. If not, God is pissed, like really pissed, and he's like, y'all fucked up.
It's like the planned obsolescence, just like anything else. Like you used to buy a table and pass it down generations in your family. Now you buy an IKEA table and it's good for 5 years. You got to go buy a new one.
Oh, they don't even want you to do that. Like they want to make sure if you like watch the freaking commercials for them and like the way that kids do things today, it's like they're replacing and moving their living room around for whatever the next trend is. And I'm like, this is insane. This is why you have no money. Like, I,
Well, and then the Great Reset thing. It'll be you won't even own a table. You'll rent a table. A drone will
yeah,
bring you a table when you want to eat.
Well, and like my idea to that is just, I've really been thinking about this lately, is the idea of you'll own nothing and be happy. Like we know we're not going to be happy. And it's not this whole thing where everybody's like, it'll just be illegal for ownership. Like, no, I don't think it'll be illegal. We just literally won't be able to afford it. Like
Yeah,
something as simple
exactly.
as a coffee table or a drill, it'll be so out of our price range that like you'll have to rent it, and hopefully you have enough social credits or something to be allowed to rent it, right?
100%.
Well, the happiness, pardon me, the happiness comes from the Brave New World Soma pills.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not real happiness, but look how many people are on these pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Drew?
I was just gonna say, like the UN has that whole like they call it happitalism that they're talking about, and there's a guy named Jamie Ilian that's part of like a UN group or whatever, and they push this thing called happitalism, and another person that's involved with that is Pharrell Williams, and he had that song called Happy.
Damn, I knew nothing about that. Happitalism.
Happitalism, yeah.
That makes me want to kill myself.
Yeah, exactly. And the dude is like, he was like found, like supposedly the dude behind it, he's pretty young looking, relatively. And he's was like found as an orphan on the road and raised by Mother Teresa and all all this crazy stuff. It's like such a fake story of the guy. I have a video of it up on my page, Chalk Body Outline YouTube. You guys can go check it out.
I'll have to do that. I didn't know anything about that.
That goes right with that though. The you will own nothing and be happy. I think
Mm-hmm.
you'll just have to say you're happy or you're a dissident, right? And
I know you'll just like be
lose
shot in the
yeah,
head.
you'll just lose social credit, like you said, and you just won't be able to. They'll just freeze you out of society. And like we talked about before, Fringe, you'll just become a second-class citizen.
Mm-hmm.
A non-entity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're deplatforming people online. It'll happen in the real world as well.
Yeah.
Well, something that I've seen with these the Trucker Convoy, especially with the GoFundMe, apparently the funds have been seized, and then I guess there are some U.S. truckers that want to descend upon Washington D.C. and they had some sort of Facebook group that got shut down, and I'm very surprised that these people haven't figured out yet that they can't use Facebook and GoFundMe. Like, how do they not
Yeah.
know this in
I was
2022?
A concrete
I was
barrier
real
in
thrown
front
off by like the GoFundMe thing, because from the get-go, you know that they're not going to let the truckers have that. And they can say whatever they want. It doesn't matter what kind of person you actually are. All you have to say is anti-Semitic and it gets shut down. Like, that's it. So, I mean, I'm happy that they found another avenue, and GoFundMe is having to refund everybody. So they'll lose money on that. Like, they have to refund them. There were concerns of fraud, and they didn't want to deal with that.
Hey, I'm playing a Twitter clip right now. Look at your screen. Is this Davy Crocco? Is Davy Crocco live at the damn Trucker Convoy? He rode up north to Canada. Crocco's caught in the mix, man. That's him,
Where's
man.
Crocco?
That's where he is. He's in Canada right now.
Crocco.
Yeah, I don't see this happening in the United States. I mean, I'm sure it will. Some kind of like controlled, protest or whatever eventually. But like you said, yeah, that's the trap of the honeypot of the social media is once now everyone's on there, now you can't organize.
Yeah. I don't even trust the ones that are coming up for like the US and whatnot. The stuff that popped off in like Belgium and just other European countries, like shit was popping off like everywhere. The Netherlands, and it happened like just a day or two after the Canadian truckers like did their thing, and all that seemed really legit. And those people go on strike like all the time. They're constantly battling their governments and have like way more balls than the US could ever have. But it wasn't like we need to create this whole group. It was just like, in that moment, this is the emotion that I'm feeling, and I'm going to go and act on that and stand with these other people because, you know, they've given them that hope and that strength to go and do so. And for the US, we're just going to have like this long, drawn out thing that they're going to be able to pre-plan for. Like, it looks like the police will likely be arresting people tonight in Canada, so now the police are going to start messing with people. Possibly even some of their own cop friends that, you know, were actually happy to be there. So that's about to get all weird. It just, you know, I think it's something that started very organic, and I think it's gonna end up being forcefully ended with some fuckery.
Well, I have this fantasy of the protesters in Ottawa starting a George Floyd style riot and trying to burn everything down. And this is a fantasy. I'm not saying that this should happen. But then we could see the SWAT teams and the military march in and put down the riots. And then we could juxtapose that with in the U.S., you know, the authorities more or less allowed pretty much every major city to be burned, you know, for extended periods of time. And so I think that's where you see this idea of, oh, peaceful, peaceful, peaceful. Yeah, stay peaceful so that we don't, you know, a certain faction of the populace will be treated if they do, God forbid, start tearing everything to pieces. Not that they ever would.
If you, here's the deal though, like, and this is where things kind of sound like I'm promoting something and I'm not. Those people that are out there, there are truckers that don't have a job right now because of the shit that was going on, right? And the only hope that they have is taking the rig that they owned up there. And they don't know how long they're going to be there, but it sounds like people are really trying to hold out. The somewhat concerning part here is you have got men and women out there that have nothing to lose. And that is dangerous for everybody. There's a different kind of mindset that you can jump into when there is literally nothing to lose. So, I
Yeah.
don't know. And there's also a sense of power. Like, the reason we feel so hopeful, we feel so powerful when we see this, is because of these giant fucking machines that are out there. That really makes you feel some kind of way. Because just that big rig itself, it's it's a power symbol. Like, that's what it does. It chugs along, it keeps going, it can move a shit ton of weight, it can move whatever it wants to out of its way. It's literally a power symbol. So, and I feel that from an emotional kind of standpoint. And I get it, guys. Like, I'm a woman. I see everything from an emotional standpoint. But typically, I really don't get very emotional about something. And this whole movement has actually made me pretty emotional because I can see the kind of power and hope that it's putting into other people that maybe would have never spoke up before.
Yeah, and I like
Well,
to.
if
I
I'm
like to.
around, you won't have to
Sorry.
worry. Oh, sorry, Drew.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say.
I was going to say, if I'm around, oh, shit.
Jinx.
Now nobody will go.
I just want to say that I poo-poo on this movement a lot, but it's got to start somewhere, like Fringe was saying. So hopefully this just emboldens more and more people, and it will start peaceful like this. But exactly what Fringe was saying, once there's nothing to lose, that's when it'll get real. And as long as more people are, you know, inspired by this, I think ultimately
Yeah.
it'll only be a good thing.
Our job right now is, no matter how you feel about this convoy or what comes next, I think our only job right now is to understand that, you know, it can really feel like we end up getting to a good point, right? Like, we feel like we're going in the right direction, and just understand that there's always a funnel as far as this power ship goes, or like a vacuum. They talk about it the same way in the fucking Middle East. The same shit's going on here. We might remove somebody, but who are they about to put in? The same way that people blindly followed Donald Trump and thought that they were on the right path. Like, you're not. And a lot of people realize that now. But if we do get into some kind of very chaotic type situation, we need to be very careful about who we're following. That doesn't mean just sit at home and sit on your hands if, you know, you wanted to go and do something or protest something. But it does mean just be careful as far as who you're getting yourself involved with and the power changes that happen. That's not always a good thing.
Yeah, and they'll spin it like it's a good thing no matter what through the media.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually shared, I do have something that you can play from my Twitter. I just went and found it. I can't remember where that was, but I at least shared the tweet and I called it like Battle of the Machines. Benton mentioned earlier that if it gets too real or the elite really don't like this, they'll bring in their SWAT teams. They'll possibly bring in the military. The only real concerning part would be more so like the military. But as far as them being able to get set up, and maybe the truckers thought about this, I have no clue. But it's not going to be very easy to go in and get all these people out of there because of how huge these trucks are. I mean, that truck's not moving unless it really wants to move. Like, could you imagine them trying to hook up a SWAT vehicle to that or trying to get it out of the way? And it's like, it's not going to go anywhere. You'll ever watch tractor pulling? It'll be like that.
Right.
It'll be great.
What is that? What is that John Deere tractor doing? Is it spewing like seed at the at the cops or something?
I think so. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Fertilizer, maybe.
Shout out to EBT. Probably worked on that rig.
Or he could.
Yeah, the farmer can't, but EBT could.
Yeah, apparently the city of Ottawa wanted to tow a lot of those rigs out of downtown, and you need heavy wreckers. The big
Huge.
rotators.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're huge, and all of the companies refused, or most of the companies just refused to do it, which was good.
Yeah, it was.
And
Even if somebody was
Yeah.
dumb enough to get out there, like, how are you because of everything in the way and how they're parked?
Just one at a time. It would take a long ass time for sure.
Yeah, I don't keep up on this like really like I should, but I didn't realize like the farmers are down there now too with the tractors. That's cool actually.
Oh, yeah. It's dope. You got people coming in on fucking horses. I don't know where the hell these horses are coming from, but I'm like, this is so fucking awesome. Like, I'm losing my shit over here sometimes.
I think you would see the opposite of this in Minneapolis, where they just had that cop shot that guy. So the guy's name was Locke, and the cops opened his door with a key. Did you guys see that story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I think you would have the riots going on right now, full scale, burn to the ground riot, but it's so cold there. They're not going to leave their house. At
They
this
took
point.
the trucker stance. They did protest, but they all stayed in their cars and
Yeah.
honked their horn.
It's too cold. So eventually, as it warms up, though, then these types of things will be more in the street, I think. I think you're just going to continue to see more and more civil unrest.
Oh, do you mean
Yeah,
like
and-
counter protesters?
Both, yeah.
There
It
do
does
seem to
seem
be
like-
some counter protesters coming out for Canada, so it might be the protest movement.
Well, if this is where their federal government is, and it's their equivalent of Washington, D.C., a lot of these people live downtown, and they're all lefties, I'm assuming, all the people that live around there.
Yeah, have y'all seen the have y'all seen the people that are coming out and like yelling at the people
Yeah,
because
that's
like
so
I
funny.
haven't slept in 5 days.
Quit the
Like,
honking.
it's been 5 days.
It's called earplugs, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Ben was saying though, but if it was BLM out there burning things down, they wouldn't be out there saying anything.
They'd be right on with them.
I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 fucking days. It has to fucking stop. The honking will continue until freedom improves. Simple as that. Simple as that. Fuck you. Fuck me? Fuck you. Join us.